Three-time African champions, they right now, their faith hanging in the balance if they will make it to the 2026 World Cup. But we would say that game played on Monday, it lied in the hands of one who was fired by Nigeria about 2 years ago. Coach Gernot Rohr, he came back to haunt the Super Eagles of Nigeria with that 2-1 victory in Abidjan. Of course, massive result for them in Group C. The Super Eagles, of course, defeat to Benin Republic has put Nigeria on the brink of missing a second consecutive World Cup. This loss highlights several critical issues within the team, from defensive lapses to strategic missteps. We've got the Super Eagles. They now face that prospect of missing out on a second World Cup in succession. Now, following the Super Eagles loss to Benin Republic on Monday in the matchday 4 of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers in Abidjan, Coach Finidi George emphasized that there is no special formula for winning football matches. This is coming after that loss in the hands of Benin Republic. We did see goals coming in later on after Super Eagles of Nigeria led with the goal from Raphael Onyedika. That was not enough, as the Benin Republic did come with 2 goals, and that sealed them a win in Abidjan. Let's listen to Coach Finidi George and what he had to say after that loss.
2 mistakes, and they got their goal. They didn't have clear-cut chances to have scored more. So it was a mistake from my team, and I think that enabled them to get those 2 goals. But apart from that, I can't put that on fatigue. You saw how we played the second half as well. So if a team was tired, they wouldn't have put up that kind of performance in the second half. But yeah, we needed that second goal to really boost us, but that didn't happen. Of course, a team that has won 2 games, yeah, I think you must give them credit for that. We have not done so. So I think they played to their strengths, and they defended well, and when they could go for counter-attack, they did it well as well. But like I said earlier, if not for those 2 mistakes, I think maybe the match would have been.
Coach Finidi George's reaction to that loss to Benin Republic. But what does Gernot Rohr have to say? He had to thank the fans in Abidjan for their support, because their support went a long way to hand Benin Republic that victory on a neutral turf. Let's listen to the former manager of the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
We know this team, of course, they have fantastic wingers. When you have Lukman and Chukwueze, I said to my players, never let the fullback alone against these players. Always help, solidarity, because in the dribbling they are so strong, and then also they can score the goals. And I think we had the right organization. They scored the first goal. Perhaps they believe that it's already done, but the reaction, the desire of my team was so strong that we could come back in the match. We won the 2 games not in Cotonou. We won the 2 games in Abidjan. At first, I want to thank you, all the people from Ivory Coast, to welcome us like they did, and also to help us today.
Alors,
And Coach Gernot Rohr returns to hunt the Super Eagles of Nigeria after leading them, of course, the World Cup in 2018, and not forgetting that he became the only coach to last up to 5 years with the Nigerian national team. All right, let's feel the balls. Let's see what's happening after the loss to the Super Eagles of Nigeria at the 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Benin Republic. We have joining us all the way from Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, our correspondent, Favor Itoa. Thank you, Favor, for joining us at this time on the show.
Thank you very much, Onyechi Obaro, for having me. I mean, a day after the defeat to the Super Eagles of Nigeria, everywhere seems calm. And, of course, the team did leave immediately after the game with their chartered aircraft to Nigeria. And, of course, they'll be looking forward to maybe reflect on the defeat they of course witnessed against Benin Republic, but it was a sad day in the office for Nigeria and not what many anticipated. The worst they probably would have gotten should have been a draw, but it did not happen as football happened to Nigeria on the day.
All right, football happening to Nigeria on the day, but favor a 48-team World Cup with a 9+1 place for Africa. And there is now almost 90% chance that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will not be there. Favor, do we say that the Eagles are in crisis at this moment?
The Eagles are in crisis. The Eagles are in a dilemma. I mean, when you look at the possibilities of them qualifying for the tournament, it's very slim. And then you ask yourself, this is the same Super Eagles, or majority of the players did not qualify, for the 2022 World Cup. And we knew what happened to Nigeria. We lost, brands. A lot of sponsors pulled out as Nigeria did not take part in the World Cup in Qatar. It affected business for a lot of persons, including media houses. And now we are already walking that road, and then you ask yourself, why can't we think of putting our house in order? Why didn't we do a lot of things to ensure that we're part of the Mundial? The first time the World Cup will be hosted in 3 different countries, and Nigeria is on the verge of crashing out. Lots of things have not been done. I mean, with what the NFF has arranged, don't forget they appointed Finidi George a month plus to this particular encounter, and you ask yourself, since the exit of Jose Peseiro after the Nations Cup, why did it take so long to appoint a new coach? Then you also ask yourself the technical aspect of the team, the technical committee of the Nigerian Football Federation, who is the person in charge. Augustine Eguavoyin, when you look at him critically, is he the very best of best that would have taken Nigeria to the next level? Someone who, of course, was relieved of his job as coach of the Super Eagles and elevated to the NFF Technical Committee position. I think the NFF right now have not done the very best for our football in Nigeria. You look at players on the day playing as if they have nothing at stake, they have nothing to lose, and you're playing against a Benin Republic side in rankings, you're not even close. When you talk about the pedigree of players, we're not even on the same level, aside the fact that we had the coach of Gernot Rohr, who had been to the World Cup with Nigeria. It was a shambolic display from the Nigerian side on the day, playing in a neutral ground. I mean, for no reason should Nigeria lose in a neutral ground against a Benin Republic side, with due respect to Benin Republic. But that was what we saw, of course, at the Felice Ufeboayi Stadium. So players need to just kiss the national team goodbye. And I think for Finidi George, he also needs to put discipline in the team. He also needs to stamp his authority and, let everyone know that he's the coach of the national team. At the end of the day, Nigerians will always talk. It's either they praise you or they bash you. So if you are the coach, you should be able to make bold decisions in the national team. But that was not the case. We saw some players who had nothing to do in that game stay up till the around the last 20 minutes of the game, talking about Wilfred Oyendidi. So I think for Finidi George, he has his own share of blame. The players also need to get some part of the blame. And the NFF for how they've handled the national team. Don't forget the under-17 also. We had the coach appointed just about some weeks to the under-17 Nations Cup. What happened? We did not qualify. So I think we need to take our football seriously. Cote d'Ivoire is building a lot in that football. Even Cameroon, we all thought that would not even get, a win against the team they played. They had a fantastic victory, against that particular team, irrespective of the crisis. So for Nigerian side, it's a shame, and we hope that we can get to win our remaining matches. But it's going to be difficult. 6 more matches to go. South Africa away from home. Can we get a win? That's $1 million question. Benin Republic in Nigeria, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. But can we actually get a win? That's also $1 million question. So a lot of things are, up at the moment. As of course, you also know that the Minister of Sport has summoned the NFF to come and give us a report of what happened in Abidjan. But I will tell you, Yechi Obaro, a lot of persons had no business coming here, especially with the entourage. How can you have over 10 persons from the NFF come to Abidjan? I mean, it's a waste of time, especially when you look at the fact that we are in a very serious, competition. We're in a very serious time in our football, and we're having board members from different parts of Nigeria gather themselves in a chartered aircraft to say they want to come support the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And right now, we're seeing, of course, square pegs in round holes. That's a lot of things that, we hope that we could correct in our football, but that's not the case. But I just hope that we will not have to see another, 4 years or wait, to qualify for the next ever World Cup.
Okay, Favor. Okay, Favor, thank you so much. I can feel the pain. I can feel the reaction coming all the way from Abidjan there. Favor, We'll be hoping that you have a safe flight back to Nigeria. That's Favour Itua, our correspondent, who is live in Abidjan and did follow up with the game. Thank you so much for your updates there. But reactions are still coming up. A lot are still angry from that outcome of the Super Eagles match against Benin Republic, and who would like to look at the tactical angle. Where did they go wrong? Of course, to join us in this conversation will be the first team assistant coach of Fleetwood United, a club over there in the United Arab Emirates. We've got Sylvester Ayere. Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us at this time.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Great one to have you. I know I want to look at the tactical angle of where the Super Eagles went wrong, but I will start off with this question. What are your takeaways from Nigeria's loss to Benin Republic, and does this indicate that the Super Eagles are in crisis? Because I did see your tweets on X, and I know for sure that you have reservations concerning their performance yesterday.
First of all, I want to say I was not surprised with the outcome because football is reality.com. Football is reality.com. Football is not what you believe; it's what is on ground. You understand? And when you look at the Super Eagles in a whole, when you look at Super Eagles in a holistic view, you will see that the players we have in Super Eagles are average players. They're not the kind of players we think they are. They're not the kind of players we think like the guys of Vinicius, Rodrigo. You know, so the first thing we need to do is first of all accept our reality. And when you accept your reality, then you start thinking, how best can you maximize the players you have? Now, you have a striker like Onechu, who is tall. Then you are playing people like Lukman and Chukwueze, who doesn't cross. It will not work. Onechu is not a bad striker. It's a fantastic striker, but you need to know his strength as a striker. So it can boil down to player profile. If you are playing Onechu, you should think, those people play at the way more people that cross the ball into the box, because you have a striker that operates in the box. So if you're not playing Lukman or Chukwueze, who doesn't cross, then you should start thinking of people like Boniface, who love to join the midfield. So these are key details, but I don't want to go into tactical details, because I don't want to stand as if I'm criticizing the coach, but this is the reality. When I watch the Super Eagles against Mali, Ghana, and South Africa, I start asking myself certain questions. What is the structure of the Super Eagles?
Okay, Coach.
What is the structure of the Super Eagles? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. But, Coach, I would like to really happen something. Let's react to the inconsistency, because they say that attack will win you games, but defense will win you competitions. Let's look at the inconsistency in that defense. There were some defensive errors seen over there in George Finidi's recent tenure with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, particularly that avoidable goal conceded against Benin Republic. What do you say about that defensive error? Because the 2 goals conceded by the Super Eagles were very cheap.
It still boils down to team identity. Now, I don't want to compare the Super Eagles in AFCON and the current Super Eagles, but when you look at the Super Eagles in AFCON, when you look at the first game, you see we're trying to play what for fluidity style of play, like the beautiful football, ball possession. But it didn't work in the first game. And what happened? The coach become more strategic. It fell down to more defensive structure, which gives Nigeria an identity. For this current Super Eagles, we don't have a defensive identity. If you imagine the second goal, I don't know, the first goal, the corner kick, 4 players attacking one ball while there's 2 Benin Republic players behind them. It shows that there's no defensive identity. Even against South Africa, we're very lucky against South Africa, because South Africa, they were just terrible. They have so many chances to score. You could see how many times we have moments like defender running back to defend. It shows that we don't have what we call a defensive balance. See, there are certain principles in football that you can never overlook. I don't care if you can have any style of play. You can say you're an attacking coach, a defensive coach, but there are certain principles of football you must respect. For example, what is your defensive identity? How many defense rests do you want to have at the back? Do you want to play in the last half? We were seeing 4 at the back, 3 at the back, with one DM in front of them. You could see the identity in case of counter attack. But this current Super Eagles, what we have is players just playing football randomly, trying to solve problems randomly. I don't want to sound as if I'm criticizing the head coach, because I so much believe in Nigerian coaches. Because a success for him is a success for all of us at Nigeria coaches. But as we stand now, we only have 3 points in 4 games, which is a terrible situation. We have to be honest to ourselves. That's like 3/12 in an exam. That's a fair mark. Now the question is, can we still qualify? Obviously, yes, we have 6 games to go. If we can win all our game, we'll definitely qualify. But can we win all our game the way we are playing now? It's a capital no. Because when you look at the game, when you look at Super Eagles currently, you see so many gaps in the midfield. You see so many space. So, and in football, if you expose your team with so much space, any team in the world can beat you. Any slightly organized team can beat you. So we need to first of all identify what we want to play as a team. You know, we so much clamor for possession football, attacking football. You cannot have an attacking team without a defensive structure. And those are the things we need to address.
Okay.
You can see Benin play with so much confidence because they know that there's so many space to play between the line.
Okay, coach.
We see this in the last AFCON. So we need to take away ego. We need to first of all know that we don't have the players we think we have, and start thinking of how do we start playing a strategic football.
All right, coach. I'm sorry to butt in. Coach, I'm sorry to butt in at this time, but you alluded to the fact that the Super Eagles they have average players. They do not have players like the Vinicius Jr. from the La Liga, but these are players who are coming off teams that were champions in their individual leagues. Let's look at team selection right now. Does the omission of a prolific striker, that's from the Bayer Leverkusen, from the German Bundesliga, Victor Boniface from the starting 11, of course, we did see that a bit of a change, taking out Onuachu, Kelechi Iheanacho. We did see an introduction of Raphael Onyedika in that starting lineup, and Terem Murphy coming as the number 9 in the starting lineup against Benin Republic. But the absence of Victor Boniface against South Africa in the starting lineup and against Benin Republic in yesterday's game, do you think that really took a toll on the team's attacking prowess?
First of all, this is my opinion, not the Super Eagles head coach opinion. You don't bench your best players. In a game as crucial as World Cup, you don't bench your best players. Now, it now boils down to his own philosophy. What does he see? How does he want to address the game? You could see from his 2 games, he wants to play a big striker like Iheanacho and Murphy, right? That's what he's trying to tell us. But then, if you want to play such striker, you must have good crossers of the ball. People that want to deliver good crosses, precise crosses. Because these are strikers that love to use their head, use their height. So, but then, if you look at the team structure of Super Eagles, we don't have, none of our wingers are good crossers. From Modesimo, Lukman, all of them, they don't know how to cross ball. They love to cut in. So why are you putting Boniface on the bench? When you know that this is somebody that can hold on to the ball, he's skillful on the ball, he's good on 1v1, he can create chances, he can assist, he can be a good link-up play with your midfielders because he loves to drop to collect the ball. So that's why I said I am not the head coach. I don't know if that's his own philosophy, but you don't bench your best players in a game as World Cup. You don't experiment players in World Cup. You don't start testing players in World Cup. It's very simple. You have a winning team at the AFCON. Their confidence is still high. They got to the final. All you needed to do was to build on these players. But now we are seeing a lot of experiments, right? A lot of defensive pairing, and it's not working. And the more you are experimenting a team in a World Cup phases, the more we are losing point, and the more other players are having more confidence. As you can see now, none of those teams is scared of Super Eagles now. None of them is scared of us because we showed them that we are very vulnerable. We could be South Africa, we lost to Benin Republic, we drew to Lesotho, Zimbabwe. So tell me, so we're not the Super Eagles we think we are before. So now we need to go back and start thinking, how do we have maximum points from this remaining 6 games? Because we need to be in the World Cup.
Okay, I noticed that the Nigerian team, this cut across all national teams, are always having problem with set pieces. Coach, I really need your wealth of knowledge at this time. How could Nigeria have avoided this recurring issue of conceding early goals and the lack of leadership and communication at the back, especially regarding set-piece defense against the Benin Republic. How should they have avoided that goal, the 37th minute goal they considered, of course, as a reply to that of Rafael Onyedika's goal?
Now, it's still boiled down to the coach's philosophy, the coach self-belief. Now, I would love to quote the Super Eagles head coach. He said he doesn't really believe much in football formation.
Formation, yes.
Right? Now, the question, same with the under 17 coach, says the football formation is jargon, according to Manu Garba. Now, the question that you need to ask yourself is, if you don't believe in football formation, how do you have to practice and defense set piece on training session? You will not see it as something that is important to do in training session, because you believe the players to know how to defend set piece. But in reality, it's not. You need to train how you want to defend set piece.
But does that statement from Finidi George emphasize his lack of tactical knowledge? Does it emphasize that?
Come again?
Does the statement from Finidi George, which says he doesn't believe in formation, does it emphasize his lack of tactical knowledge?
No. See, every coach have what they believe in. And there's nothing like wrong or right in football. There's no monopoly of knowledge, right? But the most important thing is, if you believe in a system of play, then you should be able to show it, make it realistic. So if you say you don't believe in football formation, you believe in action and reaction, right? Then you must have the players that are capable of reacting in any moment of the game. But as it stands now, we don't have some kind of players. What Finidi is trying to do is what we call fluidity system of play, like the Real Madrid, PSG, Man City, when players move randomly, but they move in a structure. They move in a structure. If, for example, Foden is moving to the side, Grealish is coming to the middle, they still maintain a structure. But we don't have structure at the moment in Super Eagles. You could see what happened. You could see Boniface and Ayere doing same functions. They are clashing. You could see defenders are clashing. 3 defenders are going to mark one ball because they don't have an identity.
But Coach, I'm sorry, because of time, I would like to know the rationale behind having to position players in their different natural position. I did see that of Bright Osai Samuel. He was played out of his natural position. But does that, that decision require some scrutiny for disrupting the team's balance and effectiveness? The fact that players were put in different positions.
You need to understand, not every player can adapt to different position. Most players in Super Eagles don't have the technical ability to adapt to different positions. You get? So you can't push a player to a position that he cannot give you maximum performance. So that's why the coach have to sit down and look at the team, the players you have now. Because you can't start looking for players. You have the player that you have to sit down and think, how do I bring out the best in this player and qualify the Super Eagles for World Cup? We cannot continue to experiment new players in every new matches. You need to stick to a team and refine them. Then bring up a tactics. Drop your ego. Drop your what you think is good or right. You need to now think of how to win games. It's all about 3 points. We are on the verge of not going to the World Cup for the second time. That's a slap on our face as a footballing country, as Nigeria. You understand? So we cannot look at Super Eagles. They are playing as if there's no urgency. They move the ball. Their football play is so predictable. They move the ball so slow, and when they lose the ball, their reaction is so slow. So we see all these things, and I believe coaches see all these things. That's why you have to have opposition analysis, match analysis. How do we make it go to move the ball very fast? When you move the ball very fast, you destabilize the opponent. You cannot be playing You need the football has moves to slow pace football. You understand? So then we need to have a clear structure of defending, a clear structure of transition, a clear structure of attacking. Who are we crossing? If we are crossing, how many players are inside the box? Who goes to the first or second post?
Okay.
Who is inside of set piece?
All right. With this mountain pressure. Okay,
yeah?
Coach. With this mountain pressure, would you say that Coach Finidi George is the right man for the job to allow the Super Eagles punch their ticket to the 2026 World Cup?
Right now, Finidi George is the head coach of Nigeria. That is it. He's on the job. There's so much pressure on him now to perform. But what we need to know now is whether he's the right man or not the right man. We're in the middle of crisis. And anything we are thinking now is how can Finidi George deliver results? How can all of us help him with information? Because football is all about information. But what I hope if he get to see this video and he get to watch this video, he needs to have an open mind. You know, most times we coaches tend to have this stubborn idea that you have to listen to information and pick the best. And, okay, how do I improve my team? We're in the middle of crisis that is bigger than Finidi George. This is Nigeria at stake. We need to be in the World Cup, so you need to listen to information. Okay, what people say about my teams? Where is the people coming from? There's no time for ego, senior coach, junior coach. There's no time for who's at fault. Finidi George is the head coach. Now the coach, how can we help him with information? So first thing, you need to have an open mind and seek for information. Coaches consult each other. Coaches ask questions. There's nothing like ego in it. It's not insult. It's not,
okay, Coach, we're pressed for time at this time. I wish we can continue with this conversation, but I know we'll bring you on our subsequent editions of the show In the Game. Thank you so much, Coach Sylvester Ayere, for joining us on In the Game today.
My pleasure. Thank you.